Welcome to my garden, and this is the garden tour in mid-June, and I will be taking you through my cut flower garden. Outside of my cut flower garden, I have this little area with some hydrangeas, and these hydrangeas have not bloomed for me since after we transplanted, and they were looking gorgeous that first year. But now suddenly they're looking absolutely beautiful this year, which I'm surprised because the buds had been bitten by frost. And this year, though, I did try to give it a lot more compost and fertilize it, and they're looking magnificent. So I am super happy with how they are looking this year. And yeah, this is the best show I've had so far. So in here is my cut flower garden. A lot of this was winter sown, and I will give you a closer look at everything. The fence is a no-dig fence from Vigoro that I put up this year. And I did expand this section, so it did have grass, and it has that nasty Bermuda grass, which I'm still constantly fighting and trying to dig it out. So I'll probably be fighting that for quite some time. But let's take a closer look what's inside. So all the area that has black mulch in here is the expanded section of this garden. This was all grass, and a lot of it was that nasty Bermuda grass. So I will continue to try and dig it out and eradicate it from here. I know it will be very difficult, and I probably won't get 100%, but I hope to get a lot closer to getting rid of most of it. Before laying down the mulch, I did cover it with cardboard as well as compost. And I'm hoping that by next season, maybe I can plant in this area, because this section here where I have all of the dahlias, I plan on making that the cut flower garden, or the annuals at least. In this area here, and then turning maybe this area a little bit more into the path area. So let's start with this section here. And there is quite a bit of ageratum that I winter sowed this year, and it is starting to bloom. And it has a lot of lavender, white, and I'm seeing a little bit of a purpley rose coming up as well. So very, very happy that this is now starting to flower and looking very pretty. The kind of chartreusey flowers, that is actually parsley that I had in my veggie garden, and it overwintered. So I transplanted it over here, and I am going to let it go to seed in this area. It does also help with bringing in beneficials because they like kind of that umbral flower. In this corner, I am shocked to see an actual dahlia that has come up. I have no idea which dahlia that is. I have grown dahlia here in the ground, and I do not know how that even overwintered there. We did have a mild winter, but yeah, that's quite surprising. I think I'll just leave it there and see what it does. Over here is your traditional purple coneflower that I had winter sown several years ago, and then I transplanted it from the front corner garden into this garden, and it is budding up and going to put on a very nice show here. Coming over here, I've got some marigolds that I also winter sowed and transplanted. I believe these are the ones with the tiny little flowers. And back here is a white bachelor button. So I'm starting to see it kind of show. You can see the white there. And yeah, a lot of them are budding up and will be blooming. I've got some violas. I did mean to plant that in the ground, so it's still sitting there in the pot, but one of these days I'm going to get that in the ground. I have another little patch back there, and I just haven't made a decision if I want it where the pot is, or did I want to bring it out more into the walkway area and sort of lining the walkway. So I haven't made a decision yet. Back there is a peony, and I left some root apparently. So I transplanted that here, and it really took hold here. But this plant can get really, really large, and I decided I promised my neighbor to dig this one out and give it to her. I really want to maybe make this a little coneflower hedge here. As you can see, I have another yellow one. That's the mellow yellow coneflower that I winter sowed last year, and it finally bloomed this year. And the one back there, which is more of a buttery white yellow, that one was also winter sown. That is part of the mellow yellow seeds as well. And I'm just loving those colors. So I want to create a little hedge here of the cone flowers. I also have some poppies. Now these are the Shirley poppies that I winter sowed this year. I had lost quite a few of them, but enough of them survived and are budding up and blooming. I had a pink one before, and now this one is a white one. And it's very dainty, very pretty. I do believe these are annuals. So I'm going to try to see if they can just self-seed themselves here. Not sure if they'll be in the way of my new walkway, but we'll cross that bridge later. Further over here, I have such a mix of things because I was just plopping things wherever I could find some open spots. So I believe what I've got down here is definitely some foxgloves that I grew inside, and they were supposed to be a red short snapdragon. And unfortunately, the packet that came was a mix, even though it says red on the packet. So I was kind of disappointed with that. So I might be pulling all of these snapdragons out and then putting in zinnias instead. I did put in some white salvias, which I'm seeing that there's a little bit of white showing, so it is starting to form the flower, but only 2 of them. The rest of them are a little behind, and those I grew indoors, as well as these cute little flowers, which are the jewels of Opar. So my friend from Nicole Smith Gardening, she collected some seeds from her garden and sent them to me last year. So I finally was able to grow them this year. And I would like them to get a little bigger. I'm not sure how they will do in my clay soil. They do seem to be struggling a little bit, but maybe over time they'll do okay. And I know that they can end up self-seeding, so we'll see how they do. So back here I have some other snapdragons. I don't recall which ones these are, the pink ones. And like I said, I dotted around a lot of different things and sort of forgot what I put where. And I even can see I put in some celosia here, some gomphrena. There's another snapdragon. It's just a very mix of everything. And again, the snapdragons, I think I'm gonna take some of them out because I don't like some of these short ones, and those will be coming out. This is a Dara that has self-seeded, overwintered, and I think it is infested at the moment. And I might just be pulling this out because it is just nasty. And I don't like it anymore. So that will also be replaced with zinnias. That is a yellow viola that somehow self-seeded. I have not grown yellow violas, but I let it be and it likes the place there. So we'll just let that stay there. This is some scabiosa that I overwintered. I believe this is Black Knight or something like that. And it's finally starting to push out some buds. So hopefully we'll get a lot of blooms there. A lot more of the marigolds. And again, I really went sporadic in just whatever space I could find. I don't really know which marigolds these are. I think these are all those little tiny flowers. I'll put up the name of that specific marigold. I grew it last year and I really loved it. Back here, this is the tall verbena, and that I also winter sowed. And I have it dotted around the garden as well. And then one rogue strollflower here. There's one way back there. Those are self-seeded from last year. And yeah, I just let them be in that section there. Now this section here is all of my cut flower garden. And this time I added some netting so that I can make sure that the flowers will be able to have some support. I did this a few years back and it worked very nicely, specifically with the straw flowers that get very, very tall. I may need to add a second layer, I'm not sure, for the straw flowers, but we'll see. And the majority, pretty much everything here, I believe, was winter sown, with the exception of the snapdragons, which I started indoors. I just never have good luck with the snapdragons being winter sown and actually flowering timely. So I do want to now start growing my snapdragons indoors, and we'll go through that. But here are more scabiosa, and these are a little bit more behind because this area doesn't get quite as much sun. It is full sun, but this is the first section that goes into shade. So it's a little behind from that one. In front of that is some gomphrena, and I think the gomphrena might be raspberry cream. And then dotted within, I believe this is more gomphrena in the front. In the middle should be mostly snapdragons, but I also added some verbena, and way in the back should be all the straw flowers. And the verbena, some of them are starting to bud. And looking forward, this is the first time growing these, so I'm really looking forward to those. Then we've got the straw flowers, which are already budding and going to bloom. That one is definitely in the stages of blooming along with that one. So I just dotted the various colors that I grew, and yeah, mixed them all up. I think I did a pink, a raspberry, and maybe an orange. So the middle section, like I said, it is mostly snapdragons, and I believe this one is the Orange Wonder. It's a new snapdragon, I believe, for this year, and I'm really loving this color. Looking very pretty. I think I did some other like apple blossom snapdragon, so I'm not sure which one is the apple blossom. But in some cases where I had some extra celosia, I did dot them in the garden, in between spaces wherever I could find a space, that's where another plant went. This particular celosia is quite tall. I don't know if it's because it was, trying to get to the light, and it grew nice and tall, because all the ones in the front are very, very short, because these are all celosias from the same exact seed packet and very short. Now I also have a bunch of marigolds dotted in here, and these I know are a white one, which I think they are called Eskimo maybe, and looking forward to seeing that. Now this one could be the apple blossom snapdragon because it's a little bit of a lighter pink, and not so orangey. But yeah, I think a lot of this stuff will start to flower and going to put on a really nice summer show. And then back here, I have a bunch of dahlias that I overwintered for two varieties. And they are more of the ball dahlias. They still stay a little shorter and compact, which is what I like. And they do really well for me in the grow bags. So I don't really want to put them in the ground anymore. I have very hard clay soil, and they just don't do well in that soil. So from now on, I really just want to grow them in a grow bag. And I only want the ball dahlias because I feel like those dinner plate dahlias are just too big for me. I don't really know what to do with them. And these, at least, I do cut them and bring them inside. So in here I have Millennia Floor that I grew last year, the Arabian Night dahlia, and then the three that I bought was the Cornell Bronze, the Rycroft Jan, I think, and Royal Durham. So hoping that those new ones will do well and that I can get more tubers, because where I bought it from, you only get one tuber, but they should develop more tubers, and then I should be able to overwinter hopefully several of them. Now next year I do want to move my dahlias to this strip here by the boxwoods, and this, I think, because it's such a narrow strip, would do better with just having the grow bags here. And then back here in this big corner, I'd rather do the big cut flower garden. So maybe a nice big square or something like that. And then moving the path to this section here with the flowering garden in this area. So yeah, the fencing has been great to keep the deer and rabbit out so far. Now we'll see how it does with the deer and if they can reach in to try and nibble on the dahlias. That is yet to be seen. And yeah, but otherwise I have been able to keep out the rabbits, not the chipmunks. But anyway, so that's the garden tour for the cut flower garden. And I have another tour for my front bed as well as the back flower bed, and then I will be posting one for the veggie garden. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.